For more than 2 decades, the blueprint for building a team around LeBron James has remained remarkably straightforward. The strategy was simple. Place the ball in his hands, design the offense entirely around his abilities, and allow one of basketball's greatest talents to handle everything else. This approach proved successful at every stop in his career, whether in Cleveland, Miami, or Los Angeles. However, this season's Lakers present a completely different scenario. For the first time ever, LeBron is no longer the central star of his team. That role now belongs to Luka Dončić. At the same time, Austin Reaves has grown into a high-level secondary playmaker. This creates a unique challenge, as both players require control of the ball to perform at their peak. For a player like LeBron, who has spent 20 years orchestrating offenses through dominance and control, this shift represents a dramatic change. Instead of dictating everything, he is now being asked to step back. Yet, something has begun to evolve within the Lakers. Their play is starting to feel more fluid and natural, and a significant reason for that is LeBron doing something rarely seen before, scaling back instead of taking over. The optimal version of this Lakers squad always demanded a different approach. It required a version of LeBron James who doesn't dominate the offense but instead integrates into it. With guidance from J.J. Redick, that version of LeBron may finally be emerging. Labeling LeBron James as a problem might sound almost sacrilegious given his status as one of the greatest players in basketball history. However, every team structure comes with compromises. The Lakers now feature one of the most powerful offensive engines the league has ever witnessed in Luka Dončić. Alongside him is Austin Reaves, whose rapid development has turned him into a dynamic secondary creator who thrives with the ball. Together, Luka and Reaves form one of the league's most electric backcourts. When the two share the court without LeBron, the results have been striking. This season, the Lakers are outscoring opponents by 14.5 points per 100 possessions in those minutes. At first glance, this statistic raises an uncomfortable question. Are the Lakers actually better without LeBron James? The obvious answer is no. Even if the overall production doesn't perfectly match the sum of his individual contributions, the team simply doesn't possess enough talent to replace him and improve. However, the numbers do highlight something crucial. The Lakers perform at their best when Luka and Reaves are the primary drivers of the offense. To maximize the team's potential, both players must operate at their highest level. This reality forced the Lakers to confront what may be the defining turning point of their season: how to effectively incorporate LeBron into a system already centered around two ball-dominant creators. Early in the season, the solution was unclear. LeBron struggled to adjust, largely because for 20 years he had operated within a familiar comfort zone. Nearly every outcome on the court, positive or negative, was dictated by his decisions. Offensive possessions consistently ran through him, and historically, this method has been one of the most reliable ways to produce elite offense. But the Lakers no longer require that version of LeBron. Instead, they need him to embrace a role he has rarely played throughout his career, that of a role player. In recent weeks, a noticeable shift has taken place. Since February 28th, the trio of LeBron, Luka, and Reaves has outscored opponents by more than 18 points per 100 possessions, an elite figure by any standard. The Lakers have realized that success doesn't come from removing LeBron, but from redefining his role. This new version of LeBron is not centered on dominating possessions. In fact, his on-ball percentage this season has dropped to 23%, the lowest of his career. The energy he once used to carry offenses is now redirected into other areas. Setting screens, maintaining spacing, cutting without the ball, making quick passes, rebounding, pushing the pace, and contributing defensively. With Luka taking over as the primary initiator, LeBron has transitioned into more of a connector. Consider a recent sequence against the Bulls. The play begins with LeBron holding the ball, but he is not the focal point. DeAndre Ayton sets a pin-down screen for Austin Reaves, who receives LeBron's pass and flows into a dribble handoff with Luka. Using another Ayton screen, Luka easily penetrates inside the arc. As Ayton rolls, Leonard Miller is forced to help, leaving Trey Jones alone on the weak side to cover both LeBron and Reaves. Luka then skips the ball to LeBron, who immediately swings it to Reaves for a wide-open three. While the set may appear simple, it perfectly positions Luka to utilize his greatest strength: processing multiple defensive reactions and making the optimal decision. However, the play only works because of LeBron's off-ball movement, his relocation to the corner, and his quick decision-making. A similar sequence recently resulted in a crucial three-pointer against Houston, further illustrating LeBron's growing comfort playing off Luka. He understands that the ball may not always come to him, yet remains ready to contribute instantly when it does. This adjustment also frees him to focus more energy on transition offense. While Luka Dončić has faced criticism for slowing team pace, LeBron excels in this area. Even in his 40s, he continues to lead the NBA in fast break points per game. The Lakers are not the first team to deal with the challenge of balancing talent and fit, but in today's NBA, where strategy and skill levels are higher than ever, proper role allocation is critical. Talent alone can no longer compensate for poor fit. Earlier in the season, it seemed inevitable that one of the three, LeBron, Luka, or Reeves, would have to sacrifice significantly. But LeBron's willingness to adapt has made the overall system far more cohesive. Instead of forcing Reeves into a lesser role or disrupting Luka's rhythm, LeBron has reshaped his approach to complement them. This transformation has also opened new possibilities on the defensive end. While Luka and Reeves are often underrated defenders, both have limitations and are unlikely to anchor a defense. LeBron, however, still possesses the instincts, size, athleticism, and basketball IQ necessary to elevate the team defensively. With less offensive burden, he can devote more energy to this side of the court. Historically an elite defender, his impact had diminished as he aged and carried offensive responsibilities. Now, with that burden reduced, the question becomes whether he can raise the Lakers' defensive floor. Early indicators suggest he can. Before the All-Star break, the Lakers ranked 20th in defense with a 116.6 defensive rating, allowing 115 points per 100 possessions when LeBron was on the floor. Since the break, they've improved to 12th, and with LeBron playing, their defensive rating has dropped to an impressive 107.7. Advanced metrics reflect this improvement as well, with Dunks and THRE's defensive EPM marking this stretch as LeBron's best defensive performance in years. While the sample size remains small, the film clearly shows a renewed commitment on that end. J.J. Redick has embraced this shift, often utilizing LeBron as a defensive orchestrator in complex schemes such as ghost coverages, help rotations, and occasional man-zone looks. Additionally, the Lakers sometimes deploy small ball lineups featuring Rui Hachimura alongside LeBron as the lone big. This strategy demands strong rebounding and interior defense. While Luka contributes as a capable rebounder for his position, LeBron's increased energy provides crucial support, giving the coaching staff greater tactical flexibility. What has always set LeBron apart is his adaptability, his ability to provide exactly what his team needs. If a team lacks a point guard, he can assume that role, channeling Magic Johnson-like playmaking. If a smaller lineup is required, he can offer rim protection and rebounding. When scoring is needed, he can take over games entirely, even delivering dominant performances like scoring 25 straight points in a critical conference finals matchup. However, throughout his career, LeBron has always operated on his own terms. This season is different. He has been asked to use his unique skill set in a way that may feel unfamiliar. Throughout his career, he has been part of several exceptional teams, all of which required sacrifice. Dwayne Wade transitioned from an MVP-caliber leader to a clear second option. Chris Bosh evolved from a primary scorer into a defensive anchor, even in games where he scored 0 points. Kevin Love, once a 26 and 10-player and MVP candidate in Minnesota, became known in Cleveland for defensive moments like guarding Steph Curry. When Love initially struggled with this adjustment, LeBron offered simple advice. Stop trying to stand out and instead focus on fitting in. Years later, that message has come full circle. The Lakers no longer need the MVP version of LeBron who controls every possession. They need Luka and Reeves to lead as stars. And they need LeBron James to embrace a role he has never truly been asked to play before. Now, it is his turn to fit in. If history has shown anything, it's that even at 41 years old, LeBron James may still be capable of achieving what seems impossible once again.